And where's Stephen? Can't see you, Stephen. That's better.
On the 16th of October 1990, at 5:40 p.m. in the afternoon in Johannesburg, South Africa, I took my first breath.
What's inside that hole, Stevie?
The 90s was a very interesting time to be brought up in South Africa. I lived a very sheltered life surrounded by family. We also had a brick wall with an electric fence, but I knew no different. I loved school, playing with my friends. We would go on family holidays to game drives and see lions. For me, life was great. For my parents, however, things were tough. They were raising 3 kids in an ever-changing country, and around my 9th birthday, a gunshot went off in our street, and Mum and Dad knew something had to change. On January 25th, 2000, we packed our bags and left the big city of Johannesburg and moved to the isolated country town of Norseman. Population 600 people.
So we're about to turn down Stephen's old street where he used to live. Do you remember which house it is?
Oh yeah, right at the end on the left.
Oh!
This is crazy. This is when you like
Does it
grow
look
up
just
here
the
for
same?
2 years. 46 Goodliff Street.
Here it is.
Wow.
Stephen's old house.
See, Jess, I told you that we lived in a small town. This is my very first house. Wow, this hasn't changed in 20 years. I remember having like my birthday party over here. Wow. Guys, welcome to Norseman. And this house right here is where I spent the first 2 years living in Australia. So once my dad's 2-year contract ended in Norseman, we said goodbye to the Australian outback, packed up our things and made our way towards the coastal town of Albany. There we spent another 2 years making new friends and memories before packing our bags once again and heading towards Perth. I was once again the new kid in year 9, and there I met a little blonde-haired girl called Jess.
On the 16th of May at 4:03 a.m. in Sydney, Australia, I came into the world. My mum was a teacher and dad a chef, so I'd spend my days chilling on the beach with dad before hanging with mum during his late night shifts. Before I knew it, my little family of 3 grew to a family of 6, and on February 2nd, 1999, my parents had the crazy idea of packing up our life over east and going on a 6-week adventure across the country to move to the west coast. With a full trailer, we said our goodbyes to Sydney, crossed the Nullarbor, through the small town of Norseman, and made our way to Perth. We settled into our brand new life on the beaches of Perth, and in my 2nd year of high school, this curly-headed South African walked into my science class.
Yep, this is it. So 16 years ago, Stephen and I met in this very classroom. It was a science class, and
Do you remember what I did?
I remember what you used to do. You used to get the itchy bomb things that were on the trees over at the park and put them down my back.
I was very good at flirting.
So this is it. You can't even see it. This is my favourite class as well.
Yeah.
You loved media. I loved science.
It was funny because as we like went on through the years, Jess kind of went more towards the science and maths and law side, where I kind of moved towards more of the media side. And that's kind of where we started meeting a lot more, because throughout our whole studies at school, that was the one class that we would always have together. Oh. Still looks so
Doesn't it
similar.
good? Yes, I'm
Wow.
glad it does. Come
Yes.
in.
It's funny, this is a old picture of us in the media room when you had a bit more hair.
Oh my God, much more. Look at this.
I remember this being the funnest class, and it's crazy being here like 13 years later. It still looks the same with the fresh coat of paint, and I remember just here, there's so many more computers here now, but this is where I learned to edit.
What did you edit on?
We used Premiere Pro 2, that's what
Yeah.
you introduced me on, like a proper, and there was only 2 computers in the back there.
Yeah.
Now look. This is where you made your Oscar-winning films. I wasn't expecting you.
Got you a present.
What's wrong with you?
Can't someone go to their girlfriend's house without being attacked?
I didn't mean to hurt you. We all thought that they were so good that they could get an Oscar.
Yeah, when you're like making your own stuff, you think they're so good, and then you rewatch them 13 years later, you're like,
They never made sense.
they never made sense. But yeah, wow, this is so cool being back here.
Okay, I know you guys are all here to learn more about the romance side of things, right? So all through high school, Steve and I definitely had a thing for each other. He even took me to the school ball. We would walk to school together every single morning, and then you would come back to my place every single day after school.
Just hang out.
We would hang out 24/7. And I'll never forget one night, I think we were in year 11 or 12, the brand new Harry Potter book had come out.
Like the finale.
Yes,
Deathly
the final
Hallows.
book. And we lined up for the midnight release. So it was a big thing, got the book, he came back to my house, and he accidentally fell asleep at my house. So
And I
technically...
remember being so scared in the morning, having to like sneak out of your house.
Yeah, but you didn't. I came out and I was like, Mum, Stephen actually stayed over and we were just reading Harry Potter. Like, Mum and Dad will remember this. And then, on graduation night of high school,
Final day of school, I asked Jess, should we make it official?
and I said yes,
Thank goodness.
and the rest is history.
And on YouTube.
Okay, Steve, do you remember where we went on our first trip together?
Queensland.
Yep, it was Queensland. What year?
Like 2008?
Not 2008, we're older.
2010?
2010.
Oh wow.
I remember we were both 19.
Oh my goodness, where did you find these books?
And this was my first time ever on a plane. I was so nervous, I remember, but we were so excited because when you're 19, you want to go to a clubbing destination. So we went to Queensland, found all the books that we would make. So whenever we would go on trips, we would put all our photos into these little kind of like photo books.
This is so cool. After every
I haven't
trip we
looked
made
through
a
it.
memory. Oh wow.
And do you remember what happened on this trip?
Wow, in
Oh.
April 2010, Jess and Sparry left on their first adventure together, the Gold Coast. Being Jess's first time flying, we took off from Perth, Western Australia for a 6-day holiday over on the East Coast. We went to theme parks, the shops, the clubs,
And the dentist. Stephen broke his tooth over there. Oh my gosh. The missing tooth photo is here.
Why
Can
did
we show
pick
this?
up? Oh, okay. This is the tell-all vlog. Oh, what a terrible shot. Even though I would say it was a good trip, a lot of things went wrong in this trip, and it still like sparked our love for travel.
Absolutely. So do you remember what happened in your third year of uni? Do you see how there's no books after our third year?
I got a GoPro.
You got a GoPro, and that's when these little photo books started to turn into home videos. And
Oh,
we
wow.
still have them.
Yeah, that New Zealand trip.
A New Zealand trip, a Thailand trip, and then we went to Dubai, Singapore, and the Maldives where he proposed. All through university.
So the year now is 2013. We're freshly engaged, and Jess was working full-time as a primary school teacher, and I was at my dream job at a marketing agency. So we finally had a stable income, so our parents were looking towards us to settle down, buy a house, and start popping out some grandkids. So you should have seen the look on their faces when we told them that we wanted to quit our jobs and go and travel full-time for an entire year.
Cover your eyes and cover your soul. We paralyze what we can't control.
I feel like any time we've made any major life decision, it has been with a yellow coffee in hand, walking along Treat Beach.
So it probably only took us about 2 beach walks for me to convince Jess that we should quit our jobs that we'd been studying 4 years for at university to go and travel the world.
But how many times did we go on these walks for you to convince me to start a YouTube channel?
About maybe 10 times.
I think we need to remind people how awkward I found it being on camera. Can we please cut back to those cringy media shots again? What's wrong with you? I didn't mean to hurt you.
So back in 2013, in our final year of our degrees, I came across the travel space on YouTube, and I was just in awe at watching these people travel around the world, capturing moments, capturing their everyday lives, and I just thought, Wow, this is so awesome. I would love to do that.
So now it came to the point where we had to work out how we were going to save for this amazing year of travel. And basically what we did was we still lived at home, and then whenever we got paid, we would pay for our bills, and then we would only give ourselves $50 of that paycheck to spend on us, and the rest went into savings. We did that for an entire year, and by the end, we had saved $20,000 and we had both bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii.
So it was a couple of months before we're about to leave on our big adventure around the world, and we were totally stumped. We needed a name for our YouTube channel and we just couldn't think of anything. I remember going to Jess, I was like, well, this is documenting our lives leaving home. I mean, what do they call it? Like,
And you
leaving
said
the
leaving
coop?
the coop. Yeah,
Leaving the coop?
and then I said, no, isn't it leaving the nest or something like that? And then we Googled it. I'm like, what's the saying? And then we saw it came up, flying the nest. And then we said, that's the one, that's the name. February 3rd, 2014 is a day we will never forget. That was the day we both quit our jobs, sat down in front of a camera and filmed our very first video. Hey, I'm Jess.
And I'm Stephen, and for the last 7 years we've been traveling the world.
In 2015, we've decided to do things a bit differently.
So, here's our crazy idea. Starting tomorrow,
We are moving out of home
jumping on a plane,
and booking a one-way ticket to America. We started this channel to document our first year out of home.
or, as we like to call it, our first year flying the nest.
February 9th, 2015 was where it all began. We left our dream jobs, packed our bags, and said goodbye to our friends and family for what would be the start of an unforgettable journey.
Good morning guys, today's the first day we start with Melbourne. We're on our way to Melbourne to catch our flight.
This year was one of the most fun, stressful, and adventurous years of our life, with just one goal: survive as long as possible and try and last an entire year.
Flying the Nest began with a one-way ticket to Hawaii. Aloha guys, we're in Hawaii. It's a nice beautiful day where we hung out for 2 weeks learning to surf, playing the ukulele, and having a ball seeing the beautiful island before making our way to LA to hike the Hollywood sign and visit Disneyland.
We're here in Disneyland! Woo! In front of us is the castle.
We had 2 stops left in the US, which included walking up the steep streets of San Francisco, seeing the beautiful national parks, and experiencing snow for the first time in Seattle.
We've never seen snowfall. We've seen snow one time in New Zealand and it was not like this.
And before we knew it, a month and a half was up and we arrived at the shores of Canada.
Just arrived in Vancouver, Canada. There, we actually lived in Vancouver for 3 whole months. We were just living and enjoying life. We wanted to know what it felt like to live and work in another country.
Smooth
Nah,
or crunchy?
crunchy. Got our shopping. Now we're heading home because we're cold. Oh, and maybe with a bit of fun sprinkled in. We attempted to ski, bungee jump for the first and last time, lived in and out of a kayak for a week.
You know, as long as you didn't get in front of them, between the mom and the, like,
It's so good, hey.
That was worth the wait. Went on an incredible Rockies road trip and saw some of the most beautiful spots the country has to offer.
We were officially halfway through our year abroad and running out of money very fast, with our year of travel starting to look very bleak. During the same time, Stephen decided to enter a travel competition with a little glimmer of hope that kept us going.
This editing machine over here has been working his butt off,
He told us about this little competition and recommended that we enter it.
seeing as we daily vlog.
Yes.
It's a video competition.
And after one phone call, everything changed.
You guys have won the competition.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much. We had won a $10,000 travel competition, which meant we could keep on going. We saw the Statue of Liberty in New York, found presidents in Washington DC, and headed back to LA for VidCon. There we met our inspirations before booking a flight to Utah out of the blue and meeting a little family who would soon become very good friends of ours.
We went on a US road trip, crossing many states, and after a pop into the Grand Canyon, we arrived in Vegas to see what all the fuss was about. From there, we camped for 2 weeks in Alaska, ice peak climbing glaciers, hiking through beautiful fields, and seeing the northern lights for the very first time.
Oh, I'm just defrosting. It is so cold out there. We were out there for about an hour and a half watching the northern lights. I cannot believe we got to see them. And we did, and they were incredible.
From there, we said our goodbyes and headed to Costa Rica, where we found our love for volunteering. We spent a whole month releasing over 500 baby sea turtles back into the wild.
This is amazing. This is just one of the best experiences I've ever done.
And also looking after orphan baby sloths. From there, we saw the east coast of Canada, exploring Montreal, finding our love for Timmy's, and ending our North America chapter in Toronto and Niagara Falls.
October would be an exciting month for us as we stepped foot in Europe for the very first time.
We've made it to Glasgow!
We're here in Europe finally. I can't believe it. And it's so cold.
And Stephen's sister Cleo decided to join us for our little Euro trip.
Hello.
We found the best views in Edinburgh, explored the Scottish Highlands, bought our very first drone, and spent 24 hours in London seeing the Big Ben before making our way over to France to climb the Eiffel Tower.
How beautiful is this? Come on. Amazing. That is amazing.
From there, our Euro trip continued as we found magic in the fairy tale city of Prague, saw the canals of Amsterdam, and even somehow crammed 3 countries in 24 hours. So after jumping back and forth between England and Brussels, we did a tour of Germany for the first time, a country we would frequent often in the coming years. We found the cute city of Frankfurt, toured Munich, and explored castles in Bavaria, before finding out just how expensive Switzerland is.
After seeing the streets of Zurich, we hopped on a train and made our way south to run away from the approaching winter. There we touched down in Italy, seeing the beautiful lakes of Como, the canals of Venice, and quite possibly the most colourful seaside town in the world.
Oh my gosh, guys, that view was incredible.
Our time in Europe was coming to an end. So after seeing Florence, we saw our very first wonder of the world, the Colosseum.
It was really cool. I always wanted to go here, and I think this might be the oldest building we've ever been in.
Oh, and we also checked off our 30th country that Jess and myself had stepped foot into. As we said our goodbyes to Europe, we were reunited with our family in South Africa. Some I hadn't seen since I immigrated over a decade ago. We had a ball in Cape Town, went to my cousin's wedding, went on our very first safari together, celebrated Christmas, and became scuba certified. So by the end of our first year of flying the nest, we went to 14 countries, caught 21 flights, went on 10 trains, and at the end of it all, we had 5,800 subscribers who joined us for our journey.
We ended the year with $3,500 in credit card debt, but gained the most incredible memories and experiences. We will never forget the feeling we had knowing we had achieved our goal and travelled full time for an entire year.
It was rocky, but mostly fun, and we just had this overwhelming feeling of accomplishment when we boarded that flight home. However, after living out of a suitcase for an entire year, we were so shocked to realize just how much we weren't ready to give up full-time travel.
I just don't want the year to be over. It's so stupid. Like, it's weird how when we left, I didn't cry. You know what I mean? And now that we're going home, I'm crying. It's so stupid. I don't know why. I don't want to finish.
We're really thankful for everyone that watches and subscribes and likes and comments, because we wouldn't be sitting here 1 year later if it wasn't for you guys.
On that flight home, we ended up spending the entire 9 hours reminiscing on the year that we had, and it was on that flight that we decided that we wanted to turn our passion into our career.
Year 2 was an interesting year for us. It was kind of like those awkward teen years where you're still figuring yourself out, but you just don't know how to. It began on such a massive low after such a massive high of boarding that flight to Hawaii just 1 year ago.
We came home and realized we wanted to make our passion into our career. But how do we do this without a job, with no money, but a feeling inside that this is what you want the most in the world?
After arriving a day early home to surprise our family, retracing our old favorite spots and enjoying those incredible Perth sunsets, we made Flying the Nest into a business name and started to email everybody and anybody who would listen about our videos and whether there was any sort of chance that they would want to work with us.
For the next 3.5 months, I took up a job at a local cafe as a barista, and Stephen put a little bit of those marketing skills to work and built websites and ran social media pages to try pay off our debt from year 1.
We honestly were just in limbo, still making daily videos of our life in Perth or working 14-hour days every day to try and get any sort of bite. We will never forget the day that an exciting email came in our inbox. It was early May, almost halfway through the year, and the company we volunteered with in Costa Rica and Africa loved our videos so much that they wanted us to come and film some marketing material for them whilst we volunteered in Asia.
This was the little spark we were looking for, and after a long 3 months of waiting for someone to believe in us and our videos, they booked us a flight, and 1 week later we were headed off to Indonesia and China to volunteer building schools in Bali with sea turtles in Nusa Penida, orangutans in Java, and pandas in China.
You passed out from breakfast.
Hi!
That's some food for you.
From there, the flame continued to grow. Once we returned home, we received our very first tourism board call, and we headed off to the Northern Territory here in Australia to experience the culture and also to swim in some of the clearest natural springs you will ever see.
We absolutely love traveling with others, and we were so excited when the tour company Intrepid invited us to travel from Thailand through Cambodia and into Vietnam with them to take photos for their travel brochures.
We saw the sunrise at Angkor Wat.
Quite a wet morning, so we didn't get the epic sunrise we were hoping for, but still, I'm very happy to see that.
Tried some strange street food. We lived with locals, saw the Coochie War tunnels, and had an absolute blast. This ignited our love for traveling with other like-minded people around the world.
After a little craze took over the world and we became kind of obsessed with catching Pokemon, we had the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to film our experience on board one of Australia's most luxurious trains from the West Coast all the way to Sydney. There, we continued our volunteering journey at a wildlife sanctuary in Australia, looking after kangaroos, koalas, and dingoes. Hey, Mama!
So, after exploring Bondi and popping into the Opera House, we made our way to Melbourne, and honestly all I remember from that trip is having deconstructed coffee at the most hipster cafe in town.
You have to build your science experiment.
It's literally a science experiment.
But it was there that we actually decided that filming a daily vlog, a video every single day of our life, was just not possible.
Yeah, so we kind of made the decision because there's some days where, you know, we're working like 11 hours and then we're not happy with the video we create if we try and do daily at home. So that's kind of like why we've decided to do 3 uploads a week when we're home, because we want to make sure every single video we upload we're happy with and you guys enjoy. And
We just realized we did 565 videos straight, which we thought we were just gonna do 365.
It was putting a strain on just about every muscle in our body. So we switched to a 3 video a week format on our channel. It was the best idea we ever had.
From there, we returned to the Northern Territory on our second tourism job for the year, and we ended up ticking off a massive bucket list moment of ours. We ended the year back in Africa, volunteering through Cape Town at local townships with baby penguins. Stephen took me to his old home in Johannesburg, and we even saw Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe and crossed into Zambia.
We thought to end our last day in Africa is head down to the Zambezi River and watch the sunrise, and it was so worth it. That was one of the most beautiful sunrises I've ever seen.
Before the year was up, we saved up all our pennies from the year and booked a flight to Cairns. Jess's parents moved there when we started flying the nest, and she hadn't seen them in a few years. So after finding Nemo at the Great Barrier Reef, we celebrated Christmas before making our way back to Perth. If there was one thing we learned from our second year of flying the nest, is that if it wasn't for those companies believing in us and our videos, we wouldn't be here today. We didn't earn much that year, but we managed to pay off our credit card debt from the previous year.
And we basically used all those opportunities to really practice our skills in videography and creating YouTube videos.
We ended our year with almost 19,000 subscribers as we filmed 308 videos over the year.
Year 3 was an unforgettable year for us because this is the year that we decided that we were going to get married. And it didn't take us months to go traveling again, but instead by the end of February, we were off on our next volunteering adventure.
We headed off for 2 whole months straight, first stepping foot in Myanmar to see their pristine white temples.
Welcome to Myanmar. We're here at a monastery school and I had to get up to watch the sunrise. It is about just after 7 o'clock and all the kids are just coming to school.
And I kid you not, street food that cost us 10 cents.
This meal here costs like 1 cent. I am not kidding you.
We taught English to monks, watched epic sunrises in Bagan, and caught the train to Thailand. There, we attempted to learn Thai and failed badly.
The woman say ka last word.
We tried Thai boxing, ate incredible food in Bangkok, and made our way north to live with the tribesmen of Thailand in the mountains.
From there, we made our way to Malaysia for Earth Hour, spending 24 hours in Kuala Lumpur to see as much as possible before making our way towards the islands to explore the more untouched regions. We spent the night camping in the jungle, were attacked by leeches, ate as much food in Penang as possible before doing some orangutan conservation in Borneo.
It's their eyes that get me, Jess.
I know.
They give me like the puppy dog eyes the whole time.
From there, we found a touch of paradise in Kota Kinabalu before continuing on to Laos. There, we tried to take it all in, but after a wrong run with some street food, we got hit with our very first food poisoning.
I woke up to Stephen stuck on the toilet, number 2's. And then straight after him, I ran in there and ended up throwing up. After 2 months of roughing it through Southeast Asia, we had the opportunity to work with one of the most luxurious hotel chains in the world, Seneva. This was one of those pinch me moments. These resorts in Thailand and the Maldives have all-you-can-eat chocolate and ice cream rooms, their own private planes and boats that take you to the resort, and Seneva Jani even has a retractable roof to watch the stars from your bed.
Steve, I feel like a sappy moment is in order because I don't know why. Right now I just feel really appreciative to be able to come and experience something like this. I don't know why I got emotional. Don't film me.
Okay, stop filming.
I just want you to say how about the...
What do you want me to say? Oh, Bobby, you're making me cry now. I think she's wanting to say that she's really appreciative that we're able to do these type of things and experience these things, and if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here.
Up until then, we just had a few thousand people tuning into our escapades around the world, and as we felt this place was special, so did so many other people. This was the very first time we experienced a viral video. Our Seneva Jani videos gained over 120 million views across YouTube and Facebook.
During this time, we were also busy planning our wedding. As our credit card debt from year 1 was paid off, we put the very small amount of money we made into our dream wedding. And as we have families scattered throughout Australia, South Africa and the UK, we decided to have a destination wedding in Greece.
We're going to Greece, that is where we are getting married.
Our dream was to have a massive family holiday with a wedding in the middle, and that is exactly what we had.
This vlog we're actually dedicating to our future kids. Today is the big day. It is the 5th of July 2017 and it's the day that I'm marrying your mom.
I still to this day don't know how we pulled this off, but somehow all the pieces of the puzzle fell into place. We planned this entire thing over email and Skype. I remember meeting our celebrant for the very first time at the aisle, waiting for you to walk down. That's just how chill we were about the whole affair.
We had the most magical time in Mykonos with our friends and family, an unforgettable wedding, and one of the biggest highlights of our relationship together so far. We took off on our honeymoon, exploring more of the Greek Isles before heading to Croatia to sail up and down the breathtaking coast. Stephen got to pick that part of the honeymoon, and after enjoying the catamaran a little too much, we headed up to the UK, living out of a camper van for a week driving through England. My dream honeymoon.
I cannot believe we have blue skies. I am so excited. Did you sleep well, by the way?
I actually did have a pretty decent sleep.
Yeah, this is so cool. I want to go do this a month or something.
From there, we wanted a complete change of scenery, heading over to Israel to see some of the most historical sites in the world. We spent time in Tel Aviv, explored the old city of Jerusalem, and built mud huts in the Israeli desert. From there, we crossed the border into Jordan, heading through Jerash, Amman, and Wadi Rum, before being blown away by Petra.
Really incredible being here. It is worth it. It's not one of those sites where you come here and you think, disappointment. I was blown away.
But they say you always remember the time you barely laughed, and that would be when we floated in the Dead Sea. Wow, what a memory.
That's so funny. I can literally just...
From there, we flew back to Asia to touch foot in Japan for the very first time. And spoilers for year 4 and 5 and going forward, This is a place we fell instantly in love with and would return many times. We spent our nights in capsule hotels, our days in the crazy streets of Tokyo, and our weekends at Disneyland. From there, things sped up as we went on a bullet train to Kyoto, saw memorable shrines, had a very introverted ramen lunch.
Arigato. This is so cool.
And after seeing Hiroshima, we ended our trip singing karaoke in Osaka.
After Japan, we headed back to China for the second time. This time to be in some local commercials for Chinese TV, which I would say was a very interesting experience, as we had no idea that they had a camera crew to film us. Story for another time. But whilst we were there, we saw untouched regions and had an unforgettable time in Jiangsu.
Another first for us. 2017 would be the year we stepped foot in South America for the very first time.
And we are currently in Peru.
We're in Lima! And we literally just woke up.
And we have been itching to get back ever since. We headed out on a month-long expedition starting in Lima, Peru. There, we explored an oasis in the desert and saw ancient alien markings before making our way to the Amazon jungle for the weekend in preparation for this year's toughest trek, a 4-day hike to one of the wonders of the world, Machu Picchu.
The biggest thing you need to know is that we are 3,300 meters above sea level, which means that less oxygen is currently going to our brain, which can actually lead to altitude sickness, which is actually a little bit scary. That even made me a little bit puffed doing that bit. Whew.
And wow, this is one of our favorite memories to date.
I just can't wipe the smile off my face. You know when some people say, oh, it's not worth it. This 100% lives up to all the expectations, guys. This is one of the most beautiful places we've ever been to.
From there, we lived with locals at Lake Titicaca, spent a few days in Bolivia, and walked on the world's largest mirror before saying our goodbyes and making our way through Chile before arriving in Argentina. In Buenos Aires, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary with wine.
10-year anniversary today. We've been dating for 10 years and we thought this is the last time that we can celebrate this.
Because the next time will be our wedding anniversary.
Our 1-year wedding anniversary.
Before taking a 48-hour bus ride to Ecuador. There, we volunteered with sloths before heading over to the Galapagos Islands to see some of the biggest tortoises in the world. After some incredible snorkeling spots, we headed over to live on a deserted island in Belize. No electricity.
So this is the beautiful shower. Gone really rural, so you fill this up with water, leave it out during the day to warm up, and then you just switch it on and you shower in here and then just put this up so no one can see you.
And though it was tough living, we loved every moment.
From there, we headed to the States to experience some snow in Colorado before meeting up with our friends from Utah to spend Christmas in their new home of Canada. There we went sledding, drank plenty of Tim Hortons, and had our very first white Christmas.
Morning. Jess is still asleep. We need to wake her up.
Stephen Jess, Santa came.
During our third year flying in S, we added 23 countries to our list. We filmed 158 videos and added 62,000 subscribers to our channel.
After completing our third year of following our dreams, I remember that Stephen would always say that it takes 3 years of blood, sweat and tears to start a business, and this would be the make or break year for us.
This would be the year that we would determine whether we'd need to end this adventure or if we could turn this into a job where we could sustain a family in the future. With a little nudge starting to appear from Jessie craving a family of her own, I started to put my head into work. More and more fellow travel lovers began to find our YouTube channel, and as we focused on videos that were a little more informative, while still catching those moments only travel can bring. After a little friend's getaway to Albany, and to show Jess around where I grew up all those years ago, we left the Aussie summer for our second visit to Japan.
Guys, we are off on our first trip of the year. We thought we'd kick it off by going to one of our most favorite.
And this time in the snow.
We tried delicious food and some unique food too.
First thing they've given us is raw jellyfish, so off you go, Steve.
Had only those experiences you can find in Japan, like a cultural visit to a shrine. Oh, and dressing up as Mario and Luigi and living out of Mario Kart fantasies in Tokyo.
After a quick trip back to Perth to warm back up in the sun, we actually got legally married under Australian law.
Alright, let's do this legally now. Jessica Amanda Valentine, to be my lawful wedded spouse, to have an home.
I ask the persons here present to witness that I, Jessica Amanda Valentine, will take you, Stephen Alexander Barrett. Better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, for as long as we both shall live. Please.
It only took us a year later after our wedding to finally make it legal. Then we shot off for a winter rail trip through Europe.
Good morning from a very jet-lagged Stephen and Jess.
There we had sun one day in Vienna and snow the next. So after doing some ice skating, we lived out my Sound of Music fantasies in Salzburg. Before continuing on our train journey to Slovenia. There we spent some time in Ljubljana, and I kid you not, I had the best dessert in the world, the Lake Bled cake at Lake Bled.
Really good?
That is the best thing I've had so far.
Really?
Oh my, that is great.
From there, we got hit with the beast from the eastern Zagreb, one of the coldest storms to hit Europe that year. We enjoyed tasty food in Hungary whilst warming up in a gigantic outdoor hot tub.
As April rolled on, we thought, hey, we live so close to New Zealand and it has been years since our first ever international trip there, so we thought it was about time we explored more of NZ.
So excited to be heading to this destination.
We did a month-long road trip through both the North and South Islands. We saw waterfalls and extreme ice cream creations in Auckland and went on to explore glowworm caves in Waitomo, as well as the very smelly hot springs of Rotorua.
A few wineries later, Stephen just had to live out his dream of finally heading to Hobbiton.
Oh, I am so excited to be here.
There we saw Frodo's house and had drinks in the Green Dragon Inn before seeing one of the most beautiful spots in the North Island. From there we continued south, kayaking the Abel Tasman and swimming in some of the coldest glacier-fed waters.
Oh my goodness.
As we made our way down to Franz Josef.
There, we had the most epic day. We took a helicopter and landed on a glacier.
Alrighty guys, we're about to hike this glacier of Franz Josef.
As we continued making our way down, we explored one of the 8th wonders of the world, Milford Sound.
This is so amazing.
Before arriving back in Queenstown 6 years later, only to find a photo of Jess had made the Wall of Fame at the local burger shop. There, we faced our fears, walked down memory lane, and made our way to Mount Cook to end our incredible journey through New Zealand.
On the way back to Perth, we stopped in Queensland to do a road trip from the Whitsundays all the way to Cairns, so I could say hi to my family once more before flying over to Bali to meet fellow YouTubers.
Being quite closed off until then, spending a week-long trip with other creatives who do what you do was eye-opening. We honestly learned so much about YouTube, which helped take our channel to the next level. There in Bali, we saw some incredible waterfalls. Jess got washed away.
Where are you going? Yes!
And swung away before we sadly said our goodbyes.
We had only entered June, and wow, this year was already shaping up to be one of the best. We continued our love for road trips, this time in our own backyard, with an epic 10-day trip from Perth all the way through our state of WA up to Broome. Along the way, we went sandboarding, swam with whale sharks, and camped in one of the top national parks in the world.
I think it's calling my name to go for a bit of a swim. It looks so nice and clear in there.
We ended our time drinking ginger beer and camel rides on the beach.
You may start to notice a trend. We do enjoy revisiting countries, so after our 3rd visit to Singapore, 2nd pop into Universal Studios, we caught the cheapest possible flight back to Europe for our 2nd visit to Germany.
Look like a hot mess.
You look
Feel
beautiful.
like a hot mess. We made it to Berlin. Hey!
There, we did a road trip through the fairy tale route, driving on the Autobahn for the very first time,
Time to go on the Autobahn.
exploring fairy tale towns, and living in an old German castle for the night. After some strange spaghetti ice cream, we said our goodbyes once more and flew to a destination so high on our bucket list, we may have got a bit teary-eyed when we landed.
Oh my god, it's the pyramids. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
Wow, we can actually see them from our room.
Oh my god, I actually feel really emotional. I can't believe we're here.
Egypt is one of the first countries you learn about as a child, drawing the pyramids and watching movies like Indiana Jones. Our crusades took us inside the Great Pyramids of Giza. We had way too much tasty food, and even took a train ride to the south. There we survived the Egyptian markets and slept for 2 days on the Nile. Actually, maybe it was one night. A massive sandstorm capsized our 2-night plan.
It's kind of like hard to explain when you see all this sand coming in.
After walking through the most famous graveyard, we ended our time relaxing on the beach at the Red Sea.
As we crossed our 1-year wedding anniversary, we decided to head back to Greece, this time to go sailing through the Ionian, and just straight out relaxing with zero plans.
Seriously, Antipaxos has the clearest water.
The best way to celebrate any anniversary.
We are camping in Iceland for a week and our airline lost our luggage. Great. After losing our luggage on the way to Iceland, we panic bought some clothes. And even though it was summer there, H&M jumpers just wasn't gonna cut it. We swam between 2 continents and warmed up in the Blue Lagoon. We had very delicious Icelandic food.
This is like the thing I've been most excited about today.
Before exploring the Golden Circle. There, we saw waterfalls, geysers, and camped in the middle of nowhere. We saw glacier lagoons, plane wrecks, and even had a mix-up with dinner. So tonight we were meant to have a sausage sizzle, so we're meant to have hot dogs tonight, and tomorrow we're gonna have Mexican. We left one of the bags on the bus. Please try and guess which bag we left on the bus. But those memories are the ones you always remember, even when things don't go your way.
I'm so happy. Oh my gosh, we can actually go with something else on. We've worn the same outfit for a week.
From there, we visited one of our top 5 countries we've ever stepped foot in, Turkey. We met up with Stephen's sister in Istanbul, saw beautiful mosques, tried delicious food, and even attempted to get ice cream, which didn't really go as planned.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye. Come on.
From there, we headed around the country filled with bucket list moments like living on a Turkish boat, seeing the Pamukkale pools, and ending it with a bang, a hot air balloon ride in Cappadocia.
From there, we met up with the rest of my family as we headed to Portugal. We enjoyed running around the streets of Lisbon before making our way to the Algarve before surprising my family with a secret trip. We've organised a week in Croatia, all expenses paid, on a luxury yacht for the entire family.
You're kidding!
Really? All expenses paid.
For the 5 of us.
Oh my gosh!
After all their support these years, it was so nice to finally be able to give back to them.
After a super relaxing week aboard the catamaran, we made our way to one of the most underrated cities in Europe as we explored Kotor by the coast.
Get a photo!
From there, we made our way to Bosnia and Herzegovina before saying goodbye once more and flying to Ireland for the first time. There, we explored Dublin before hiring a car and heading up the coast. We went to the Giant's Causeway, had a castle ruin all to ourselves.
Guys, it is literally just us, the cliffs, and a 500-year-old castle.
And got up super early to see the dark hedges from Game of Thrones. After continuing along the Wild Atlantic route, we returned our car and flew over to London to live out a little Harry Potter dream of ours.
As our UK trip continued and the weather got a little bit colder, we made our way through London, Liverpool, Manchester, and the cute town of York, where for some reason someone let Jess rent a boat. Come on, Jess! From there, we headed up to Edinburgh and then back down to Brighton with a little detour in Bath. Before October 16th came around, Jess surprised me with a little bit of a birthday present. We've hired out this little camper van and we're heading around the south of Wales.
After exploring Wales, we headed to Northern Africa once more, but this time to get lost in the Medinas of Morocco, the blue towns of Shishouin, and camping in the Sahara Desert. For some reason, I had a crazy idea of surprising my brother for Christmas.
Many coffees over the next 2 days.
2 days? We're traveling for 4 days.
Oh.
Which entailed 5 flights, and 50 hours of travel later, we'd arrived in Melbourne to his big surprise.
Before heading back home to Perth, we headed to South Australia. Whenever we get the opportunity to travel a bit more of our backyard, we jump at the chance. We swam with seals, had oysters in the sea, and saw just how beautiful our home is. We were home for the holidays for the very first time, and a little present was waiting under the tree for us, our 100,000 subscriber plaque.
Oh my gosh, it looks so cool! We'll have to get it out. Wow. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. That's so crazy to think that that's like ours.
I know, it doesn't even look real. Like, it's weird sitting down to do this and then 4 years ago when we...
It's also weird, like, think all over the years of watching people getting these,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I can't believe we have one.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
know.
weird.
It doesn't seem real.
We'd never worked harder than we did in this year. We filmed 142 videos seen by over 17 million people. Our subscribers went from 62,000 all the way up to 300,000. Wow, how could any year top this year? We couldn't believe that we were now going into our 5th year of flying the nest. If you told that crying Jessie back in our first year all the adventures we were going to go on, I don't think she would believe you.
Not only had we explored the globe, we now had our dream jobs and it was finally becoming profitable, which meant that we could finally start experimenting and making some videos that were a little bit different.
Our year kicked off by flying to Sri Lanka. There we had our first taste of street food for the year, climbed the 8th wonder of the world, caught the most scenic train ride across the country, went on an Asian safari before swinging into the sunset. So later in the month, we finally headed to the Philippines to go to a shopping mall.
So big!
No. We headed out to the more untouched regions of the country, making our way north to hike for 3 days through rice terraces, while staying at local villages and even camp for 1 night on an active volcano.
I'm so glad we did this. This is definitely the highlight.
Before once again swinging into the sunset. Oh, and seeing some of the most beautiful islands in the world. After having a month of beaches and sunshine, we decided February would be the month to hit up the snow, as the goal for Jess in 2019 was to finally learn to ski. So we jumped on a flight to Japan, ate our weight in udon noodles before hitting the slopes. Jess owned the mountain,
This is like the best skiing I've ever done.
whilst the mountain owned me. The winter activities didn't stop there. We had a barbecue dinner inside an igloo, went snowshoeing through the forest, and had the cutest Japanese man cook us fondue in the middle of the snow.
And eat?
Yeah, well, just eat, yeah. Nice.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Our time in Japan came to a close by doing 2 very traditional Japanese experiences, spending a night in an onsen hotel and going to Harry Potter World in Osaka. As March rolled in, we headed back home to Australia to say hello to the friends and family, whilst also squeezing in a cheeky getaway to Byron Bay. This little Aussie escape was filled with brunches, beaches, and barbecues. But really the main reason we came home was to wait for a special envelope to come in the mail. Another goal for ours in 2019 was to become a bit more spontaneous, and nothing gets more spontaneous than this.
We are here at the Perth airport and we have no idea where we are going.
Before we knew it, we were on a flight headed for Taiwan. Our mystery trip was filled with tasty street food, high-speed trains, and high-speed bikes.
Guys, I just don't think you understand just how cool we look at the moment.
A country that has been on our bucket list for a lifetime is India, and this was the year we would finally visit. Our Indian adventure started in Delhi, where we watched epic sunrises, ate some of the most unique street food, fell in love with chai, and were crazy enough to cycle through the streets in one of the busiest cities in the world.
Everyone's heading to work, dodging rickshaws, motorbikes.
From there, we headed north to volunteer at temples, visit the Pakistan-Indian border, ride the toy train to Shimla, ticking off another wonder of the world at the Taj Mahal, exploring the pink city of Jaipur, and ending our time covered head to toe in colour. In April, we said goodbye to the chaos of India and made our way to Korea. We arrived in the capital city of Seoul and had 48 hours to do and see as much as possible, which included visiting temples, taking a Taekwondo class, checking into one of the tallest hotels in the world, and we even had a Korean makeover. After staying in such a modern city, we decided to mix things up and go live with the monks in the south. We spent the next few days learning about their way of life before catching the train to Busan to experience cherry blossom seasons for the very first time. April was a really big month for us. We absolutely love traveling and sharing experiences with others, and this month would mark the first ever Fly in the Nest expeditions, where we invited a bunch of you guys to come and travel Vietnam with us. We all met in Hanoi and had an 8-day jam-packed adventure across the country. We slept on a luxury overnight cruise in Halong Bay, spent 13 hours together on a sleeper train, tried Vietnamese street food on the back of Vespas, and explored one of the most beautiful cities in the country. We both just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone that came, making this a trip of a lifetime. Jess's birthday month rolls through, and she couldn't have picked a more complicated country to celebrate in. Oh boy, that Russian visa still gives me nightmares. So after jumping on a flight we didn't think we would make, we touched down in St. Petersburg and were blown away by the beautiful architecture and the tasty donuts. So after too many shots of vodka,
Here you go.
vodka, and an interesting Russian spa experience, we made our way to Moscow to celebrate Jess's birthday in an old Soviet bunker.
Happy birthday to you!
I'm starting to catch on to this whole birthday month celebrations, as Jess conveniently found that the cheapest flights out of Russia
It just happened to be the French Riviera, so I was like, oh, may as well fly there.
So of course the birthday celebrations seemed to continue. So after almost meeting Leonardo DiCaprio, we rode around the French Riviera in style. And visited one of the most smallest countries in the world. Jess's birthday month just never seemed to end, but the icing on top was catching up with our good friends to spend a week cruising through the north of Spain and drinking wine in Bordeaux. To kick off June, we decided to let you control where we went next, and you all sent us to our 70th country, Sweden, where after a day of flying, you still made us spend the night in an aeroplane. Here we ate too much fika, went on a moose safari, and had Swedish meatballs around the campfire, whilst Jess's love for ABBA came out of hiding. So halfway through June, we hopped off a plane at LAX, and had the worst jet lag we've ever had. But a second exciting envelope kept us awake. I think we've become addicted to these spontaneous trips. Where are we going?
Okay. I'm pulling out something. I'm shaking.
Where is it?
I don't know yet. I'm not looking. Oh my gosh, I'm going to Texas!
As before we knew it, we're back at the airport and our second mystery trip of the year as we headed for Texas. If there were two words we had to choose to sum up our trip to Austin, it would be food and axes. So a place we've always wanted to get lost in is New Orleans, Louisiana, and that's where we headed next. We started each morning with beignets and coffee, danced along to the sounds of the streets, and even looked for alligators in the swamps. So July was a month we'd been waiting all year for, as we dedicated the next 31 days to a friend's vacation filled with theme parks, roller coasters, Mickey-shaped food, dining with Donald, and acting like big kids.
Down road I'm gonna ride till I can no more.
Our exploration through the South continued as we made our way through Savannah, Charleston, and South Carolina on an epic road trip. So as July reluctantly came to an end, we said our goodbye to the Grin series and jumped on a plane back to Europe. The first day of August was spent on a 24-hour layover in the most visited city in the world, which was completely opposite to the lesser explored countries we were about to visit. We flew into Slovakia, hired a car, and had one of the most unexpected road trips of the year.
I want to go see the sheep. Oh my gosh. Where are the sheep going?
If there's one country we visited in 2019 that needs to be on your list, it is Slovakia. This is cool, it's like little cabins. Explored fairy tale castles and witnessed the beauty of the high Tatras Mountains. From there, we revisited a favorite destination of ours, Germany. With this time exploring more of the south of the country with the perfect German getaway through the Bavarian Alps. Guys, this is why you come to Germany. Do you realize that it was so beautiful? Next up, our first time stepping foot in Central Asia, we went on a 5-day tour through Kazakhstan, with some days looking like we were on the moon and others looking like we were on the lakes of Canada. This is why we recommend you come out to untouched and less touristy places. We ended that month with another huge milestone, being invited to guest speak at a travel conference in Kazakhstan's futuristic capital city. As September rolled through, our love for road trips and untouched countries continued as we made our way to Romania. Here we hung out in the mountains, became best friends with the goat, explored the castles of Transylvania, headed back to Disneyland, Romanian style.
Like, what is this? We're now 100 meters below the ground.
Ate way too much papanash and drove on one of the greatest roads in the world. From there, we headed to Poland to find colourful medieval towns, cute villages, and some of the best dumplings we've ever had. Oh, and did anything else exciting happen in September? We found out we're having a baby.
It's like my, oh my god! Oh, I don't even believe it. So I was just about to say that it looks like a really little faint line was coming up on this one. I did not, oh my god, Steve's gonna be so excited.
As our life completely changed, we celebrated with pizza in Venice before boarding one of the most luxurious trains in the world, the Orient Express. As October began, we headed home back to Australia to tell everyone the exciting news. And to see the little one with our own eyes. Before we could blink, we made our way back to Italy to resume our travels with our little puff pastry growing away. There we hopped on a Mediterranean cruise to celebrate Stephen's birthday. Happy birthday, dear Stephen! Went back to Greece to reminisce on our wedding and dressed up for our very first Halloween in Ireland. So if you've been around this channel for a while, you just know our love for Japan. So November marked our second trip to the country for 2019. Here we ate flaming ramen.
What? So good!
What just happened? Fed some cute deer and took in the colours of the autumn leaves. Time goes super fast, and before we knew it, Jess needed her 12-week ultrasound back at home. And whilst we waited for the results, we decided to head on a summer getaway to Tasmania, only to find out that Cradle Mountain isn't so summery in November.
Guys, I think we're about to get stuck in a snowstorm.
So our summer trip was filled with fireplaces, warm soup, snowstorms, and cuddly wombats. As the final month of not only 2019, but this entire decade rolled through, Jess's childhood dream of having a European Christmas would finally come true. We need to know.
Finland. We are really in Finland.
After taking the longest flight in the world, we met up with Santa in Finland and borrowed his sleigh to get us to London. There we joined up with my parents and dragged them across Europe to as many Christmas markets as we could find before waking up on Christmas Day in Prague. So to end the year, we flew out to Canada to spend New Year's Eve with our good friends the Grin series to bring in the new year. After another epic year of travel and a little baby on the way, our channel exploded. We went from 300,000 to 700,000 subscribers and became one of Australia's most subscribed travel channels.
Wow. 2020 marks the 6th year since we've started Flying the Nest, and I am so grateful that all those years ago we decided to start a YouTube channel. And I also wanted to say we are so grateful for every single one of you that have decided to follow along on our journey.
2020 would be the incredible end of a chapter in our lives as we begin a brand new one.
After spending New Year's with our friends, we decided to retrace those steps we took in our very first year of Flying the Nest. We did a Canadian Rockies road trip, and though we traded the Blue Lakes of 2015 for snow-capped mountains, we loved every minute of it. From warming up in the cutest cabin in the woods, to driving along the famous Icefields Parkway and walking across an ice bubble lake before ending our time in Jasper National Park. From there, we flew back to Australia with our annual pop into my parents' house to say hi to the family. The Valentines have not been in the same room together for 5 years, so it was very special to be there for my mum's 60th. From there, we told our friends and family the exciting news that we're going to be having a baby girl. Before jet setting off to Fiji for our little warm baby moon. There we spent our days relaxing as our baby grew bigger, had way too many coconuts, and even spent the night on our very own private island. For some reason, the cheapest flight out of Fiji was back to Australia, so we popped into the East Coast to live in a tropical island tiny home before heading off to Hawaii, a place where Flying the Nest began all those years ago. There we saw black sand beaches on the Big Island, had way too many acai bowls in Kauai, and got a little bit emotional back in Honolulu as we looked back on the last amazing 5 years this channel has brought us.
Yeah, I even felt emotional at the airport, but I didn't want to say anything because then I knew I would start crying at the airport. And it's just cool that we came back here.
Oahu is kind of where Flying the Nest started. I mean, that's when we'd like quit our jobs, sold everything, and then booked a one-way flight and this was the very first stop, almost exactly 5 years to the date. It's the 17th of Feb, and I think we came out like, we were here at least on this date 5 years ago.
I think it's just cool to be back because it's where Fly in the Nest started. It also feels like this is like the... I can't talk.
From there, we took our final flight home, and though I was 30 weeks pregnant, I was itching to get out. So we rented a van and explored more of our home state of WA, making our way through Margaret River, Albany and Esperance, before stopping over at a rock shaped like a wave before a global pandemic stopped the world. With nowhere to go and a baby on the way, we took one of the biggest steps of our life. After years of living out of a suitcase, sleeping in Airbnbs, hotels, hostels, trains and planes, we now had a place we could finally call home.
We bought a house!
A place to bring our little girl into the world. This will always be a special memory for us as we unpacked our lives, did a little bit of house renovation, and got our baby girl's nursery ready for her arrival.
As the final week started to count down, a few little special moments needed my attention. Jess was turning the big 3-0 in quarantine at home, so I put on my chef outfit and tried to make her week as special as possible. Oh, and after this, I wasn't done. Due to the world events, we had to cancel Jess's baby shower. And though it was sad to see her cry, I got advice from all her friends and family and threw her a secret surprise baby shower.
Can't have a baby shower without any guests.
And as June 2020 rolls in, this incredible chapter of our lives close as a new one opens.
Kind of cool. Next time we come back here. Hi, I'm Jessica's husband.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll open these bottom doors. Just come up to the second floor and go, sweet, okay?
Thank you so much.